Spider-Man No Way Home deleted scene. Mysterio kills Aunt May. Let's see what the Cosmondo has to say about this and check this out.
What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to the Cosmic Wonder. I'm Warren Thompson, and it looks like Spider-Man No Way Home could have been very, very different, specifically in regards to Aunt May, her death, and who killed her. As it turns out, originally, Mysterio was supposed to kill Aunt May, and we do have the storyboard footage of this, what this scene would have been like. Now, many people after Spider-Man Far From Home took place believed that Mysterio wasn't actually dead. After all, it is Mysterio. He is the master of illusion. It would make perfect sense that his own death was indeed also an illusion, and that he would come back in Spider-Man No Way Home. And according to one of the storyboard artists, Phil Langone, who released this storyboard footage, said that this scene was actually going to be very, very brutal in regards of Spider-Man's retaliation to Mysterio killing Aunt May. So let's go ahead and look at this footage and break it down after, but keep in mind, this is where Aunt May is already dead. Now, Phil posted this to his Instagram, and this is what he said under the caption for the post. He said, "This version happened under an elevated train next to Peter's school. J.J. Jameson is a TMZ-style street reporter. Part of the idea being explored was Spidey is one of the strongest superheroes, but he holds back because he doesn't want to kill anyone. But what would it sort of look like if Spidey went berserker mode? Kind of never finished, but was fun to play with. There's another half to this where Spidey wails on the fishbowl." So, as you can see here, in this first part, Peter sees Aunt May laying on the ground. He's in full Spider-Man costume. He goes up to her, thinking that she's just hurt. We see captions on the bottom where he says, "Aunt May." Then he quickly realizes that she's in fatal condition or already dead, and yells for help. He yells, "Somebody help." Then in the background appears Mysterio, and he watches as Peter mourns over Aunt May's death, who Mysterio is responsible for. He just murdered her. So clearly Mysterio is there to not only prove the point, but then to finish off Spider-Man as well. Peter says May a couple of times, soon realizing that she's gone. And here's something that is really interesting. Peter actually realizes that Mysterio is there because he quickly turns around and just runs at him. Now, of course, Peter has his Spidey sense. So when Mysterio arrives, he knows that he's there. He knows Mysterio is standing behind him. And his Spidey sense probably tells him that it is Mysterio as well. So he probably knows exactly what has happened in this scene. Mysterio killed Aunt May. We even see in some of these sketches some markings alongside of Peter's head, kind of like they're waves. And this is the waves of what Spider-Man's Spidey senses are, how they would be shown on screen, or as Peter calls it, his tingle. So he turns around, charging at Mysterio. Mysterio fires a blast at him. Peter dodges it by jumping to the ceiling, and then he swings in and kicks Mysterio. And here we see him just absolutely beat him down. He just starts wailing on him. He kicks him up against the wall, then he grabs him, throws him to the ground, picks him back up, throws him on the wall again. Then he grabs him and throws him across the room through a wall. When Mysterio finally tilts his head up, Spidey slings a web at him and pulls him back to him. When he gets back to Spidey, he bashes him into the ground from midair with two of his hands. From here, we see him yell. We're seeing full Spider-Man berserker mode. We're seeing all of the rage, nothing held back. He grabs him again, throws him, instantly webs him again, and kicks him into a truck. And this is where we see JJJ along the sidelines with his film crew filming the whole entire thing. So this is how that would have tied in with the whole Spider-Man being a villain, being a menace. Of course, there's a lot of people that are still probably going to believe that Mysterio was kind of right here. So of course, JJJ being there and filming the whole thing would be just overall terrible for Spider-Man because he's in full berserker mode. People would have still thought Mysterio would have been dead, but then it would have been revealed that he was alive, but Peter then wailed on him to try and kill him again. So Peter would have really been made out to be the villain here. And it sort of ends with Mysterio just laying on the ground, but as Phil stated in his Instagram post, there was going to be more that was never finished that showed Spider-Man just bashing Mysterio's fishbowl in. And I'm assuming that it would break pretty easily, so essentially it would see Spider-Man bashing the head in of Mysterio, completely just obliterating his face. And who knows, maybe he might have even gone on to actually kill Mysterio in this alternate story. That might have actually been why they took this part out. Yes, they want to test the limit of Peter Parker being one of the strongest superheroes and not killing, but still it might have been kind of hard to see Spider-Man just completely bashing somebody's face in. But that would have been kind of a cool way to add Mysterio into the story. Now, it would have completely changed the movie, and we actually don't know if this would have been indeed the same Mysterio that Peter Parker had fought before that everybody thought was dead. This could have actually been a variant of Mysterio from another universe. He could have come through much like the other villains did in the actual movie. This would kind of be in line with what the Green Goblin did because, of course, in the actual film, he killed May. However, this would have kind of changed the ending. Now, of course, the other two Spider-Men would have been in the film. They would have still brought Andrew Garfield and Tobey Maguire back. They still would have had that scene on top of the building where they all meet, because this still happens after Aunt May dies. So her death was really the pivotal part and most important part that kind of brought this scene together. However, one thing that would have been extremely important about this that I don't think Marvel would have left out is Aunt May telling Peter, with great power comes great responsibility. Or, you know, her own iteration that we got in the movie. But that is one of the most important scenes in the entire film. Not only did she kind of take the place of Uncle Ben right here, something that some fans are really upset about, but this also gave Peter that line that the other two Spider-Man could bond with him over. The famous Spider-Man and Uncle Ben, and now Aunt May line. But how would this have changed the end? Well, for starters, the Green Goblin wouldn't be the main antagonist of the movie. It probably would have still remained Mysterio. And there are elements of this that could have been really cool to see. There would have been a little bit more of a connection to Mysterio since he was the villain of the last movie. He pretended to care about Peter, he pretended to be his mentor, and he also kind of robbed Tony Stark a little bit. So there would have been a little bit more connection there. However, we would have also missed out on the amazing acting that Willem Dafoe did as the Green Goblin. And the fight scene that we got before Aunt May died with the Green Goblin and Spider-Man was amazing. We saw a lot of great hand-to-hand combat there, and we really saw Spider-Man make good use of his webs. Plus, they had to figure out how to cure him. They had to figure out how to cure the Green Goblin, and this was a big part for the emotionality of Peter Parker. The Green Goblin killed Aunt May, so healing him was something that was really hard for him to do, but ultimately at the end he ended up doing it because Spider-Man is a good guy. Peter Parker does have morals. He does have standards. It's one of the great reasons why we love Peter Parker / Spider-Man. So I think the way the story played out was the better way, but this was really interesting to see. So let us know your thoughts about this in the comments down below. Do you think this would have been cool to see, or do you like how it originally played out? Let us know, and don't forget to like the video and subscribe so you don't miss out on any of the latest videos. Don't forget to follow us on Instagram and Twitter, and as always, thank you all so much for watching. Woof woof.
Please subscribe, like this video, would be great. No, see you guys, bye.